Wanted to talk about data talent pools across the USA, where you can find really good data scientists, data engineers. Hey there guys, it's Rasul from Data Talent Advisors. Wanted to talk about data talent pools across the USA, where you can find really good data scientists, data engineers, and some of the folks that have been working in these areas are now moving into AI as well. So you'll find those pools that are followed closely behind them. So obviously, most people know that if you're trying to get really the top tier talent, probably the most expensive, you're going to go to the Bay Area. Okay, there's a lot of competition for talent there, and that's part of the reason for why the price point on some of the folks that you find out there are so high. New York is kind of similar in a way as well. But one of the things that I always say to founders, especially companies that are starting a new concept, they don't really have revenue streams, things like that. I mean, you'd never start a business buying the most expensive, let's say, laptops and most expensive desks and chairs and all that kind of stuff. It's a similar concept when you're starting a new SaaS company and you're going out after the most expensive talent out there. I think there are plenty of markets in the US that you can choose from. I don't want to necessarily stack rank them because they are all good for various reasons. Some talent pools may be larger just because of the fact that there's just more people living there. But after San Francisco and New York, which I think are 1 and 2 respectively, you really have a myriad of others that you could include for various reasons. Boston is incredible for biotech, life sciences type folks, especially we had covered a real world AI engineer position. Those kind of folks you'll find in places like Boston. Boston's an amazing market also for robotics. And then you have folks in Seattle. That's where Microsoft is based. Amazon is there. So that's a very rich talent pool as well that you can also access. But there are some diamonds in the rough that we can't forget about. But we can't forget about Salt Lake City. Okay, Salt Lake has produced multiple unicorn companies. There's a very rich pool of talent there that have worked in some of the more progressive, innovative companies that are out there. Many of the banks in New York decided from a pricing standpoint, because they were actually having to compete with a lot of the hedge funds and smaller investment firms that were paying a lot for the talent. Many of the large banks and some Fortune 500s have moved to Dallas, which is now at about 8.5 million in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's a fantastic place to find amazing talent that's been working on some really progressive data engineering and data science type projects. But of course, one in Texas that we all can't forget, it's kind of was the shining star for a long time, even before we were talking about Dallas, was Austin. Austin is another great place where you're going to find folks that are amazing, and price-wise, they're going to be closer to the New York, or maybe even not as much as the San Francisco market, but folks can get pretty pricey in that market as well, just because cost of living is going up there. But some of the ones that don't come up for many folks, Minneapolis, we don't talk about it much, but Minneapolis, Best Buy has been an innovator for a long time as far as what they're doing with their big data work. United Healthcare, that I tout, say great things about them. I'm not in any way sponsored or endorsed by them or anything like that, but I've just noticed a lot of amazing people that come out of there. Another one would be Target, done a lot of great work. So Minneapolis is one that you can't forget about, and cost of living is pretty, reasonable there. Another place, Atlanta, we don't talk about enough. Georgia Tech has done a great job with their program there, and there's Emory as well, and a few other universities. But the, industry there has supported a lot of this work that's there in Atlanta. So we can't forget about Atlanta. Of course, just right up the coast, north of Atlanta in the Research Triangle, or the Raleigh-Durham, like Charlotte type area, let's say, there's really good talent pool there. And again, that's been an area where some banks and other investment firms have moved away from New York, and they've established offices there and campuses that have amazing talent pools. Okay. One that I also don't want to forget about, because it's one of our largest cities, because I'll hear about it otherwise in the comment section. Chicago is one that we can't forget about, home to many large, organizations, and definitely for the size city that Chicago is, the cost of living is relatively reasonable, and you will find amazing talent. And there are many companies that are progressive, like Capital One and other Fortune 500s that have, found people there and just made the best of it there. It's a great city, great place to live, and amazing organizations to work for. So I believe with the list, I think I covered almost all of them that I wanted to touch on. There may be a few that I've left off, but I've covered the majority of them that I think people should be thinking about. My honorable mention before I end the video is Miami. Miami, which is up and coming. And that's one of the big tech hubs that's coming up, that's also accessing South America investment. So it is one that's up and coming, and just look for more stuff coming out of Miami as well. But those are some of the top cities that I would mention for top data talent and really tech talent. And I hope this has been somewhat informative. So be sure to hit the notification button, like this video, follow us. And if you have any questions, you can come to www.datatalentadvisors.com or leave a comment in the comments below if you'd like me to cover a particular topic that I have in previous videos. For now, I'm over and out. We'll see you. Bye-bye.